a video on my ancient Greek Xiphos or Spartan short sword. So I got this from Cult of Athena. It's a very nice sword. I do also have a coppice, or falcata, however you'd like to say it. And it's not that historically accurate. It's really big and it's very poorly made, whereas this is made really nicely. It actually retails at $30 US, but to ship it and stuff like that, it's around 100. So really, you're paying about $130 US for this. Now I've been waiting since April for this. This was a birthday present, and it arrived about a week before Christmas. So I've just sort of had a bit of a delay to do on this video. So the reason for that is because it got stuck at the US border because of COVID and stuff like that, and the US address wouldn't ship it forward because it was a weapon. So I ended up having to get it shipped to my uncle who lives in the US to then ship it to me. So that's why it took about 7 months to finally get it. It's a nice sword. It comes with a sheath as well. It is a fake leather, it's not a real leather, but it's quite a nice construction. The only thing that was with mine is that when it arrived, it was starting to peel, and I haven't fixed it yet because I wanted to sort of show you guys how it looked in the video, but just some glue, even if you wanted to just use hot glue, wood glue, something like that, just stick it back together. Should be fine. It slots in very nicely. The one thing I would say about the sword is that it is not meant for an actual usage. It's sort of like a wall decoration. You can obviously still swing it around and stuff like that, but if it just hits hard objects, then like it's not really heat treated or anything. So it will damage and chip the blade basically. But it's quite nice. So the blade comes down into the handle, and the pommel is nicely attached. Some people said on the review that it was a bit shaky. Mine doesn't at all. So it's made of brass, and I believe this is 18 gauge steel. It does actually have a bit of an edge to it, but it won't really cut you. Now the sheath is quite nice. So it has a belt loop on the back, and then it also has room for like a sling. So what I just would probably recommend is to have a belt that you clip it on and use the sheath, like sword's sheath strap. It does not come with a strap, but that should be alright. It shouldn't really be that hard of a thing. One thing that is not that accurate is that there is a popper button on it. But I don't really think that matters too much, to be honest. It could just be a pin, like they would have had pins back then, but just modernized, I guess. But like visually, it's nothing really out of the ordinary. So it draws nicely and it sits nicely, but if you try and just hold it from that, the weight of the sword makes it swing. It is a bit loose, so it does come out quite easily. Overall, it's a really nice reconstruction. Now the reason I said it was a Spartan Xiphos or a Spartan short sword is because the normal Xiphos that normal Greeks would have used, or non-Spartan Greeks would have used was had a 17-inch or 19-inch blade, and the Spartans developed their own one which was only a 13-inch blade. So it's sort of more of a dagger, but the reason that they did this is because a hoplite would never really use his sword if his spear was still intact, and basically what it was is to sort of go over the shield and through eye holes of helmets, and that's why they sort of developed their own very short, basically just dagger. So when you use it with a aspis, it would probably be held like that, and you would sort of hack over the top and try and stab through little gaps in the armour. Now the reason that you wouldn't really slash with this as much is because that's what a coppice was for. So the coppice was a cutter, it would dig into shields, stuff like that, whereas this is really just meant to be a quick sort of hit, but really a stabbing weapon. So the sword would only really be used as a weapon of last resort. So the spear or the dory was double-ended. So it had an acme at the front and a saruta at the back. And the saruta was a counterweight so that you could hold the spear more forward and backwards. So if the end got cut off, you'd switch your spear over and use the back, and then if you lost that, you would then draw the sword. Some people obviously would have probably just drawn the sword after the spear broke or was lost. And it's quite quick. You can move it around and sort of cover and move it all over the place. One thing that I have found actually is that when you have a sideways crested helmet, when you come up to swing, you invariably sort of clip the end of it, which I found a little bit interesting. But yeah, it's a very nice reconstruction of the sword, and I guess now we've covered sort of how it would have been used historically. I guess I could go into depth and giving you some more close-ups of the actual sword itself, in case you want to buy it. So there's the blade. Has a nice beveled edge, very straight. As I said, a brass handle, and it's all sort of like screwed and interlocked together, so this blade goes down into here where the pommel then attaches it, and as you can see they're all separate pieces, like they're not welded or anything. Really, overall a really nice sword. My biggest thing that I sort of didn't understand is that when you look at it head on, I don't really know if the camera's picking this up, but I'll try it this way. Where the blade is attached into the hand guard, it's sort of lopsided, but the sword is straight. I guess maybe that's a better way. So on this side, it's over on this side of the guard, but over on this side, it's on that side. So the blade's sort of at that angle, but yet the blade is straight. So I don't really know why that is. Obviously you will get fingerprint marks on this, but it's been coated in like a lacquer, so it doesn't, you can just wipe them off. It doesn't really rust or oxidize the metal. So it does have a nice weight to it, but it's also not heavy, so it is actually practical. When you put it in and out the sheath, it does get some scratches, but that's to be expected. Overall, it's a really nice blade. It moves really nice in the hand. So yeah, that is my Spartan Xiphos. I do really like how it comes with a sheath, which I'll just grab. So here's the sheath. As I said, it is a fake sort of like plasticky leather, and that is how it came. So it's sort of all split here, and as you can see, it's like a vinyl, but you can just sort of stick that back. And so here's the belt loop. It has these metal rings. They should really be bronze, like this colour, or brass. But it's nice that it has a stitching going around here, and that's sort of why that this is coming apart, because the stitching ends instead of coming round. Overall, it's quite nice. It does bend, so you don't have to worry about it really breaking if you're moving. And overall, it's a really nice sword. So it just slots in, moves down, and then it will draw very nicely. So if you have it here, you can quickly draw it, or however way you want to draw it, if you want to immediately stab or whatever. And it does move quite nicely. You could possibly actually use it like a dagger, because you can whip it up quite fast. But the Greeks would never really do that, because it is to sort of come over the shield or to go through a Corinthian helmet or whatever helmet's like eyepiece. Anyway, yeah, that's sort of my overview of this sword. I would recommend it if you want a fairly cheap but accurate Xiphos. There's a couple other really good options from Res Bellica. As you know, if you've been watching me for a while, that's my favourite store to get reenactment gear. And they have a really nice Xiphos and Spartan Xiphos, where it's like a wood handle and a scabbard instead of a sheath, so it's like a wooden sheath basically. And that's really nice, but it's about 130 as opposed to the 30, and for this one. But yeah, it's a really nice overall sword. It looks, the shape, if you are a Lord of the Rings Hobbit fan, is quite a lot like Sting, and that is what his sword was based off in the Hobbit book and movie. But yeah, so if you guys want to pick up a Xiphos, I would say that this is a really nice option. And yeah. So as always guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and if you have any video suggestions, please drop me a comment. I am currently working on a video suggestion right now, but with work and stuff like that, I've sort of got a little bit off track. So I'm trying to bring videos back to be a little bit more scheduled. I know I've left a 2-month gap right now, I'm sorry. I'm not quitting YouTube. A couple of people have asked me in the comments. I've just taken a I'm not trying to make YouTube become a chore. I want to enjoy it and upload when I feel like I should upload, as opposed to feel like, oh, here's my 2-week marker, I'll chuck a video out. That's not really well made. So that's sort of why, I'm sorry if you guys want me to upload more, I will try, but I'm not going to put my sort of health and sort of bad quality videos out just to get videos out. So I am really sorry about that. I will try and upload more. But yeah, if you guys want to pick up this sword, I'll put the link in the description, and have a great day.